Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California at Undercity Comics. Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue 172.5. My name is Bryan.
Nick.
Rene.
And welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let me answer your question real quick, okay? Because I know you guys are used to the shows coming up on on Wednesdays, right? But why is the show popping up on Monday? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the city of Whittier is going to have a special event coming up on Saturday. And with us today is Eric Hauser, promoter of Whittier ComicFest 2023. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming. But yes, big event in Whittier because it's the first time that we're having a comic festival, comic convention here in Whittier. It's a really great thing to see, especially with pop culture stuff growing in the community. So to see how big this one's going to be, it's eye-opening because we saw how quickly you guys were promoting everything, all the guests that are going to be up on there. How many guests are you planning on having?
Ooh, off the top of my head, I think it's around 12 guests, and we're going to have 48 tables in the community center. Wow. That's including the guests and the vendors. So it's going to be a pretty packed show.
That sounds like it's going to be a hell of a show, man.
Yeah.
Especially for your first one. That's a lot of tables for the first one.
Did our best.
No, it's picking up.
I
appreciate it.
Yeah, I have a lot of people coming in and just talking about it.
Really?
That
makes me happy to hear.
Yeah, people are talking about it. They're excited for it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Makes me happy.
And so my big thing is I wanted to know what made you guys go, you know what Whittier is missing? We need our Comic-Con. Like, we need a comic. Like, we need you know what? We're Quakers. We need all this. The thing that we're missing is a comic fest. Like, where does that thought come in?
Well, I think just seeing Fisk Comics and Undercity, seeing like how much of a vibrant comic community Whittier has on its own, I kind of saw the need for one. I've been doing signings for the past year at Fisk Comics.
Okay.
Yes.
Jake, the owner of Fisk, kind of just gave me his space where I could just bring artists in, and we've brought, I think, around 12 artists within the past year, ranging from like David Mack, Dan Panosian, Joe Rubenstein, Marat Michaels. So I was hoping to eventually scale it into something like the Comic Fest. I just didn't expect it to be a year in, you know? But,
took him on his phone, you know, you're like,
whoa.
Exactly.
That's how those events start. It's like you start to just build up this tiny little ball, you let it go down the hill, and it snowballs into something big. And before you know it, a year later, you're like, wow, okay, 48 tables.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. How did you guys pick, like, did people do outreach to you guys of like once you announce going, hey, we would love to be a part of it? Or did you guys reach out to everybody that's kind of participating?
So I had like a set lineup of guests that I already had locked in before, like Joe Rubenstein, Norm Rapmond, Chuck Patton, all of those artists I already had locked in prior.
Right.
And then as we started promoting more and more, I started getting more messages online on Instagram from different artists that wanted to appear as guests. So that's why the list kind of just grew more and more. And I was surprised because my one worry was that I wasn't going to be able to fill all the vendor spots. I was worried that it was going to be empty. Oh, yeah. And the vendors are kind of the backbone to the whole show. Yeah. And, you know, we sold out. So that I was really grateful for that. And, you know, going in, knowing that every table's filled, the convention center is going to be filled. And then hearing that we've already had a good reception from the community, I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the location because I feel like you're talking about artists, you're talking about vendors, you're talking about people who I know that you have writers as well. People that have created comic books, created their own stuff, right? Where in Whittier can people go to be part of this event, to basically go and interact with the artists and the vendors and everything?
Yeah, so it's going to be at the Whittier Community Center, just a few blocks away from here, from Undercity. I think it was a great location because the city and the community center are really helping me put the whole thing together in terms of like the tables, chairs. So that was kind of what led me to pick that location, was that the amount of help I was going to get because it's kind of like a one-man show. I'm kind of doing this on my own in a sense. I'm going to have some people, these two guys named Matt and Angel, who are going to be helping me the day of, just helping, you know, ensure that the show runs smoothly.
Yeah. There's a lot of like moving levers going all over the place.
Exactly.
At a con, I can only imagine.
Yeah. So it's going to be at the Whittier Community Center.
Gotcha. From
11 a.m. to 5 p.m. November 18th.
Cool.
That's
All
only
right.
a week-ish away.
Yeah.
Well, less than that, 5 days as
Yeah.
the time of release of the show.
That's a pretty good like space of time as well too. You have it like right before the afternoon technically, and then like a little bit after, late in the afternoon. It's like that peak time of people will be in Whittier as well too.
Exactly, and it's like right before I think Thanksgiving break.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to.
We were talking about that. I was just like, okay, so when is this convention? Is it like Thanksgiving week or is it the week before?
I think it was like,
It's the-
week
it's
It's the week before, yeah.
So yeah, and that's going to be really awesome. I mean, I know that you're right. Whittier has a great, and they have a great comic book, just community anime.
Yeah.
They had
Whittier's very nerdy.
Whittier is very nerdy.
It's super nerdy.
A
It's
lot
super
of it
nerdy.
is under disguise. Like a lot of people
it
don't
is.
want to show off, but like they can. You've got artists all over the place here who've
Yes.
done some fantastic. We had a guest a couple weeks back, Sarah, who painted a couple murals up in Uptown Whittier. So yeah, like the community's there. It's just I feel like
No one wants to say it out loud.
exactly. And the Comic Fest, I think, is a good opportunity for a lot of these people to go out there and see other artists that have made it, and hopefully inspire more people to go and do the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah,
it's
That's what
great.
I'm hoping, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the guests that you're having, anyone in particular that you might want to highlight or kind of like shout out there?
I think Jim Kruger, who's a writer, he actually wrote Earth X alongside
that's
Alex
right,
Ross,
yeah.
and also wrote Justice alongside Alex Ross. He's
Nice.
he's done a lot of work with Alex Ross, and to have him come here to Whittier, I think is really, really cool. I'm very excited to have him.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah.
I think he's one of the more underrated guests I think that are appearing.
Yeah, and is there any vendors that you guys got and you're like, wow, that's really cool. I can't wait to see like that up on the wall or anything like that. Like, is there any cool like items that you guys are going to be displaying?
So we have a lot of like the lineup of vendors that we managed to secure. It's so diverse. Like we have a lot of independent creators that just want to get their own books out there. And then we have a lot of like toy collectors. Like Toy Depot is going to be
Nice.
Yeah, I saw
setting
that.
up
That
a
was
table.
cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to have them there. Fist Comics is going to be there. So it's going to be like a diverse array of like comic dealers to comic book stores to toy collectors to toy stores to indie creators. So that's what made me kind of really excited, which is to see how many different types of vendors are going to be there.
Yeah, that big diversity is important because I feel like when you talk about, the pop culture, comic book stuff, like toys and stuff, if you have a big diversity of vendors out there, you're going to get people interested, and it's not just kind of like narrowed down to one field. When you think about toys, you're not thinking about just box toys and stuff like that. You're thinking about collectibles that haven't been opened up, or even things that maybe you don't find here in the States. They might be outsourced from different countries and stuff. So exactly. So it's interesting. It's a little mini, I guess, LA Comic Con for those that don't want to go to LA. And like
Have
in
to
a way,
pay for parking and
Yeah.
It's okay.
LA
You
traffic.
Don't go to LA. You can just deal with Whittier traffic.
Right.
Sometimes is worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let
You
me
ever
put it
driven
through.
down Greenleaf,
How
man?
about
Yeah.
how about I
Yeah.
sell you Whittier right now? You ready? All right. Think about the conventions that exist around the area. You got LA Comic Con.
Yeah.
You don't like if you want to go there, you can go there, but you're dealing with traffic, you're dealing with expensive parking, all that other stuff, right? Frankenstein's, it's a big convention with a bunch of vendors and stuff like that, right? But do you guys remember the parking there? It's like sometimes impossible to find parking.
Oh, yeah.
Also, there's nothing around the area besides that because right next to it is a freeway. You come to Whittier Comic Fest. Literally 2 blocks up is Uptown Whittier with a bunch of different businesses, small businesses, restaurants, all these different things. It's a great location to have something like this.
Yeah.
It's such a great opportunity, I think.
I agree with you, but Frankenstein's does have Benihana's.
That's true.
Let's not disparage.
You paying? You paying? You paying for Benihana's?
If they're willing to do the heart rice, I'm down.
Oh, the heartbeat.
I want that heartbeat and I want the onion volcano.
I got a question for you. So speaking about you, Eric, the man, the promoter, right? Yeah. So I feel like when it comes down to comic book conventions or anything like that, the people that usually are behind the scenes, they sometimes have like a nerdy background, a nerdy persona, right? But they kind of get mistaken for kind of doing this for the money or for like the fame or something, right? For notoriety, right?
Yeah.
You, when it comes to your nerd history or culture, whatever it is that you want to define it as, right? What's your history with it? What nerdy stuff do you like?
I love Star Wars.
Okay.
I'm like a big Star Wars nerd.
The Tusken Raider. You don't want to do any other noise besides the Tusken Raider.
Yeah, man.
Why?
Because it's exciting.
The people that killed Anakin's mom?
She had it coming.
Oh my God.
Let's be honest. She had it coming. Yeah. She gave birth to Hitler of the space.
Yeah,
she gave birth to Space Hitler. Let's be 100%. She had it coming.
All right, sure. Okay, we get it, kid. We get it, Nick. All right.
She gave birth to a person that killed children.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah.
Eric, Star Wars.
Yeah.
What about Star Wars? Tell us about that.
I don't know. I just grew up loving Star Wars.
I'm sorry. I was just like, I wish you would have done well in a galaxy far, far away.
Just do a small synopsis.
Well, go on.
But yeah, and like you said, I know a lot of different promoters might be doing it for the notoriety or the money, but I am doing it because I don't want to get kind of mushy, but my father was a promoter, but he was a music promoter, and he passed away when I was very young. So I've always grown up wanting to be like my dad. So, but I don't share that same affinity for music that my father did. So I felt like if I became a promoter in Latin music, I would be doing him a disservice because I don't share that passion that he had. So I wanted to do it kind of in an industry that I'm more comfortable with. Yeah. I didn't want it to feel like I was necessarily working because I do have that passion for comics, for that kind of nerd culture, right? So that's kind of like my ambition behind it. And I'm hoping to eventually scale the Whittier ComicFest into something larger and larger each and every year. Yeah. So just seeing, how much it's grown, just within the past few months as I've announced it, I'm like very, very excited for what the future holds for this event.
Definitely. And I want to highlight something that you said, right? Because you were inspired by your dad, right? Who was also a promoter, and you're doing it in your own way. The thing I like so much about what you said is that when you do something from the heart, it means that much more because you're putting that much more effort into it, right?
Exactly.
And I think that that's what's missing. And I feel like people need to hear that when it comes to these things, right? Because yes, comic books, you can, buy it and read it and it could be whatever, right? But some of us, I think all of us here, right? All three of us, four of us, including you now, we enjoy this world of comic books and pop culture and nerdy stuff because...
It's okay.
Shut up. Stop. Can you not ruin the mushy moment? All
no.
right?
It's too serious.
It's my job.
Sorry, it's too serious.
No, but we all fall in love with it for one reason or another, right? For me, I am a Trekkie because my dad was a Trekkie, brought me into that, and he was the guy that brought me into sci-fi. That's how I love it, right? When it comes to everything else, you grew up with Star Wars.
Star Wars and Batman.
Star Wars and Batman.
I respect that.
Right? And then Rene?
I'm a complicated case, but I mean, it was because, not to sound sad, but it was mostly because it was the only thing I had while my parents were off doing other things. Yeah. So I was left to my own devices. So I was either watching TV, playing with action figures by myself in the living room.
See, I thought it was funny because I remember seeing...
that was funny to you?
Well,
a child being left alone.
Yeah, of course. That's what you should do with them. Just leave them to their own devices. Give them a box of matches.
I could have done many other things.
In all fairness, you came out pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You left you to your own devices.
There were two things. He could have been playing with knives and fire or action figures, and luckily he chose action figures.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I do remember when we were kids, my mom once told me and my brother, because we like pop figures, we like comic books, he likes 007, we just spend money on, collections. And then she was like, I can't believe you guys are getting into this stuff. And he goes, listen, we can either spend it on booze and drugs, or we could spend it on action figures and collectibles. Yeah. Which one do you want? And then she was like, why are those the two options?
I've told my mom the same exact thing. Same exact thing. Like, Mom, you should be grateful I'm like this. Like, you don't have to worry about me.
I've had this conversation with my girlfriend where me and him are getting into our nostalgic kind of like childhood things. Yeah. Where I'm also a wrestling fan as well too. So I'm getting back into wrestling. I'm getting back into wrestling action figures with the wrestling figures and stuff. So I'm like online. I'm like, oh, they just dropped like the new Brock Lesnar, and I'm just like going on Ringside Collectibles, and my girlfriend's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, hey, I can get into drugs if I wanted to, but I'm not. This is my thing. Let me have my thing.
There you go.
Yeah. See, he's a 90s wrestler kid. I mean, I'm getting back into wrestling, watching WWE, but I'm a 30-year-old man with a wife who bought me a tech deck. So now this is my toy for the last 3 days.
I noticed your stickers like right when I walked in.
yeah.
Yeah, the DX and the Macho Man. I noticed it right away.
Dude, I remember having that toy.
Oh, the Macho
Macho
like,
Man toy, the big plushie where he was just giant. I remember having that toy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm super excited for the fest. Are you encouraging people to dress up?
I would love to see some cosplayers there.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to see a lot.
Absolutely. Are you guys doing like a contest or anything, or like you guys just telling people come like dressed up if you want, or what's up?
Yeah, like I encourage anyone who's listening, like to please come like don't be scared to cosplay. I would love to see some cosplayers come up to the show, but I would love to eventually scale it to where we do those types of contests where we, have more going on. But like I said, it's kind of like a one-man show with the setup.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I didn't want to, bite off more than I could chew. I didn't want to have a ton of stuff on my plate and then just kind of, not do everything efficiently, like everything,
Yeah.
So
you know what, and it's really cool. You guys are starting out small. It's going to be a really cool event. You guys got over 40 tables. I mean, that's incredible already. I do think cosplayers is what makes a con.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go, the coolest thing about a convention is seeing how creative people get, seeing how inventive or how colorful their costumes can get. So, I mean, if you guys want to go ahead and go cosplay, I definitely recommend it. Like, even if you just go and it's a cheapy costume, do it. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
People are, so you guys gonna be taking photos of the event? Like, how you guys gonna?
Yeah, we'll be taking some photos because the next one probably won't be till like summer 2024.
Okay.
Oh.
That's what I'm aiming for. So I want some things to post in the meantime, in those months in between.
Keep the Instagram active and all the socials. Yeah.
We don't want it to like die down. So we'll definitely be taking some footage, some photos throughout the event too. But obviously ask permission before. We don't want to, take any photos of people without their consent, stuff like that. But
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. If I mean, it'll go well regardless, right? But we definitely want to hear back from you after the event and kind of like talk about how everything went. How was it? I mean, we're going to be there as well, covering a couple things here and there to kind of like showcase.
Like a video.
Yeah. Well, we'll have videos. Yeah. We'll have videos of the event.
Some videos. If you're free, maybe we can interview you or Angel or anybody else that may be free that day. Maybe we can pull you guys aside that day. And yeah, man, I'm super excited about this. This is having a con. Cons have become like this, like just out of control. It's so great to see them just sparking up everywhere. I'm super excited. Are you guys going to be having any like board game like people or no?
Not yet. Okay. So it's very like comic and toy centered. I feel like that's kind of like the vibe going into it. Is many of the like all of our artists are comic related. Or the writers attending, and then all of the vendors are either comic or like art or toy collectible related. So like I said, eventually once we get to scale it more and more, I would love to include those different you have a couple voice actors too, right? I know the voice actor for Gur. That's right. Yeah, we have Ricky Simmons going, who voiced Gur in Invader Zim.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's gonna be pretty sick. I also saw that you had was it Rafael Navarro? Who worked on Mucha Lucha. He also has his own comic book.
The first My Hero Academia.
Yeah, it was so funny because we were talking about it, and then we were like, oh. Like, Mucha Lucha is just My Hero Academia. Yeah. But with luchadors.
I didn't think that.
Right? Until you put it together, you're like, oh, it's not far off.
Yeah, it's not far off. It's just luchadors instead of quirks.
They literally have, like, finisher moves and stuff.
And they're having classes, and there's just, like, these upper people. Yeah, it's a trip when you really think about it. And just to think, like, oh, yeah, Raphael was, like, really ahead of it. And I know he also does drawings while he's there and signing and doing everything like that. He loves drawing like things out while he's there and just like giving them out to fans. So that's gonna be really, really cool. I can't wait.
He came to Fist Comics I think last week, and he wanted to drop off a gift for the store owner. And one of the store employees, Matt, told me that he just pulled out a book and just started sketching like on the spot. And then posted it, and it was like sketching a Kingpin. Yeah.
That's Jake's favorite character. Yeah.
It took him like 5 minutes to sketch it out.
He draws quick.
He's insanely talented.
There was a photo you posted earlier today as of recording of is it Deadpool or who is it that was supposed? It's going to be drawn on rice paper.
I think it was Daredevil and Bullseye. No,
I think so.
I think I reposted it. Yeah. Yeah. He does some really cool commissions, really cool pieces.
Yeah, I know he's so talented and everything. I talked to him maybe like once or twice at a con, and he knows my mom.
You laugh, but then I hate you for it because I'm just like, why don't you mention this stuff?
I didn't know that. I didn't know they were walking
You don't know
buddies.
anything until it happens.
How do I know that they're walking friends?
Talk.
Like what?
You talk to your mom.
I don't know what they do. She just goes, "Oh yeah, like my buddy my buddy Raphael," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool."
I feel like I can know more about things than you would ever if I spoke to your mom in like a couple hours, dude.
Just give me a list of all the people you know. But yeah, I'm super excited about this event. It sounds like it's going to be an awesome time.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I noticed that you said you were a one-man show. Can you tell us more about Anytime Promotions? Like what kind of? I know you said that it was really brought on by your dad and stuff.
So my dad's very first business before he became a promoter was called Anytime Tickets. It was like back in the 80s.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
He was basically like a scalper back in the day. I would just resell tickets. And then so I wanted to kind of pay homage to my dad, so I named my first business Anytime Promotions.
That's awesome.
Kind of put my own spin on it in a way. So like I mentioned earlier, I've been doing signings at Fisk. We've had so many really unique and cool artists there. Some really cool comic figures that have, come to do remarks, quick sketches, things like that. So I've been doing that since I think September of 2022. That was my first signing, was with Dan Panosian. And then like back in April, I was like, I think I'm ready. I think I can do the Comic Fest now. I think I could finally start planning. And that's when I started. Like by that time, I already had a few connections going, and just started exhausting all my connections that I made within the past year to get this thing going. And because a lot of the times it's like when you're connecting with artists, like when I connected with Norm Ratman, I was able to essentially tell him like, hey, I worked with Marat Michaels, they're really good friends. I worked with him back in February, and it kind of establishes that trust.
Right.
So it's not like some random kids just emailing him, hey, I'd love to have you at this show. But so.
Well, also he can call his buddy and be like, "Oh, hey man, this guy just emailed me. Like,
exactly.
Is it legit? Like, what's going on?" They can vouch for you. So that's pretty cool.
So that first year of just doing signings really helped because, like I said, I kind of exhausted those connections that I made within the past year to really get the guest list going. So it's a one-man show pretty much with the setup. I make all of the graphics. I do all the marketing. I with the vendors list, I do that all on my own, with the artist as well. So it's been a little overwhelming. So I'm kind of excited for the day to finally come. So, I can reflect back on it and kind of see what I want to do differently for the next one.
Absolutely.
But yeah, hopefully in the next few years I could finally afford some employees to come and help me.
But
until then, it's still going to be a one-man show.
Well, remember, most cons run off of volunteers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hold up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are audio listeners, go to the YouTube channel. If you see this man walking around the convention, you shake his hand, you tell him,
You did a good job.
Yeah.
He's doing a great
Doing a
job.
good job.
No,
Yeah,
it's tough.
it.
Yeah. That's the fact that you're doing this on your own and just having, the mental capability of actually doing the graphics, the layout, the promotions, everything. In the last couple of days, you've been on 4 different shows as well.
I've been on a few. I'm just, really trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
Because,
No, definitely.
like, I would hate to, put all of that work in, have all of these artists and writers come, vendors apply, and attend for it to just be like an empty show. That's like my biggest fear, is to show up and there'd be nobody coming in. So.
There's going to be people. You guys, if you guys are around the Whittier area, if you're in Whittier, if you're in the surrounding Whittier area, even if you are like 30, 40 minutes away from the Whittier area, come on down. Come on over to Whittier Comic Fest, November 18th.
Yes, sir. November 18th.
11 to 5 at the Whittier Community Center. And make sure if you see him, thank him. Eric, see him, thank him for everything, shake his hand.
Appreciate it.
It's such a great, you're doing a great job, man.
I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you being on the show. Is there any last thoughts you might want to put out there for people to know about the Comic Fest or about you or anything like that?
Yeah, so it is free admission. I'm not charging any price to walk in the door and to enjoy the show.
That's awesome.
So you can literally come to the show and not spend $1.
Oh wow.
So I really, really encourage anybody who's watching, please, don't be afraid to come and just check it out. It's free admission. The slogan is comics, collectibles, and community. So that's why I really wanted to make it free admission, because I really wanted the community involved. So to have you guys reach out to me to be able to promote it on your platform and
Absolutely.
to hear how responsive the community's been so far makes everything worthwhile. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Also, I think it's a perfect place to kind of make it your starter convention.
Exactly.
I've been to cons. Cons can be overwhelming. There's a lot getting thrown at you all at once as soon as you walk through the doors of LA Comic Con, E3, anything. There's always all these other things. This is a great starter convention. You get to walk in. It's a lot more personal. There's a lot more time that the artist can actually spend with you and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely, if people can check it out, if you have been kind of going like, I've always wanted to see what a con is like,
Well, why are you questioning? Just show up. Whittier ComicFest.
Because you know what?
That's it. Dive in.
And you know what? Some people
Nah, you're being too nice.
I'm not being too nice.
Tell the people, it's like, show up, Whittier ComicFest. You have no choice.
Yeah. No.
What are you doing November 18th? Nothing? Well, get off your ass. Show up to Whittier ComicFest.
It's my brother's birthday.
Oh, well, that sucks. Bring him.
Bring him along.
What is that? You want to throw a birthday party? We'll throw it at Whittier ComicFest. What the heck, dude?
I don't
You know
think
what?
Eric's gonna like that.
It's not going to cost you a thing, too. It's free admission.
Exactly. What
You
do
can
you
buy his
waiting?
gift there. You can just buy his gift last minute.
Yeah,
Right
that's
there.
true.
See? There we
Hey,
go.
if there's any art from 007, yes, I will.
Why are you still
making?
making excuses, dude?
Again, also, it's also a great way to do Christmas shopping as well too.
There you go.
That's
True.
a thing.
Christmas,
yeah.
like,
you got a nerdy relative. Go there because there's gonna be toys, like you said. Toy Depot is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Fist Comics will be there.
I will tell you, a lot of the vendors that are going to show up are really personal vendors, and there's some really cool stuff. My favorite thing to do at any convention is always go through Artist Alley, because I love the personal work that people do, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you that a lot of these vendors that are going to show up are going to put their heart and soul into whatever product they're selling, and you're going to find something unique there. So go check it out. Whittier Comic Fest, November 18th, 11 to 5 p.m. Anything else I'm missing? Free admission.
Free admission.
And like I said,
it's funny. It's dangerous. I'm going there too because I get paid next week. So I'm like, might do some shopping.
Buy it all. Buy it all.
stop being a bad influence. Hey, you're not even, you said you were going to be there because of your brother's birthday, right?
No, I'm going to Florida.
He's
No.
gonna be out of town. Yeah.
I'm gonna be out of town that
You're
weekend.
not going?
I can't go. I scheduled my
You know
trip
what?
to Florida
If-
months ago.
here's what we'll do.
I didn't know.
Here's
I
what
didn't
we'll
know
do.
Comic
Here's what
Fest
we'll
was
do.
coming.
There's no excuse. He's gonna show up. I'm gonna bring a photo of him. Okay, we'll walk around with him on a stick. And you're like, yeah, Nick, just like this. That's all.
like
it is.
a
That's
fat
the-
head of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a cutout.
You know what? Honestly, I'm down. I'll take a good photo and we'll take it to Kinko's. That'd be hilarious.
All right, I'm down for the interview bits and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
That'd be great.
I'm down
Just
for it.
like put his head in the interview.
Well, guys, if you guys wanted to get more information, all the information will be in the description, be it if you guys are watching it on YouTube, on audio platforms like, oh my gosh, why am I losing track of what I'm saying? Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean. All of the descriptions will
You were doing
have
so
the
well.
stuff. I
You
know,
were doing
and then
so
I
well.
fumbled it. I'm sorry.
You're still doing it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Don't-
Positive.
don't do that.
Positivity
Don't do
right
it to
there.
him, man.
No.
He needs
Check
to know
out the
when he
info.
does bad.
Check out the info in the description. With that said, Eric, thank you so much for joining us here at Keeping Up with the Nerds. You're always welcome back. We definitely want to have you back before the year ends, hopefully, to talk about how Whittier Comic Fest went. Any highlights that you might want to talk about, we definitely want to have you back for it. And
Drama.
To come back.
Drama.
Hopefully no drama.
no, we want good drama. Yeah, good drama. Maybe and then hopefully with more time, you get to be. We definitely wanted to have you kind of be a part of the show in terms of what we do. We'll save that for the next time you show up.
No, for sure. I love
Yeah.
it. This was really fun. I really enjoyed
I'm
this.
glad.
It's
I'm
very.
glad you
glad.
enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's just a small tidbit of what we do. Trust us, it gets a lot more chaotic.
Yeah. Once we have more time and a little and everything else, it's gonna get a lot of fun.
Well, let's go ahead and sign off.
All right.
I kind of walked you through how the signing off works. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Here we
Try
go. Don't look at me, Nick. You're making me nervous. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 172.5. My name is Bryan.
Nick.
Rene.
Eric.
Signing up from Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next time.